good morning, good morning. Welcome to the latest edition of Choppin It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Well, let's get started, man. As I mentioned earlier, as I mentioned 3 days ago, this was going to be a fantastic weekend for sports. You had all the NFL games on Saturday, 5 basketball games on Sunday, a couple of NFL games sprinkled in. It capped off Sunday night with Denver going into Kansas City pulling off the win there. And then I told you that it will end. The weekend will be capped off with Detroit going into Dallas. And let's talk about that game right there. What a show Dallas put on last night. When I say show, what a show that Dak Prescott put on last night. Listen, let me say something, guys. There may be a new dictionary that needs to be invented because I've run out of words describing Dak Prescott. What a sensational performance that he put on last night. You know, some people might say, why was Dallas even playing Dak? Why they had him in there? And I like the idea that they took Elliott out in the third quarter and rested him the rest of the way. But some people even question why Dak is playing. Listen, Dak is young. You go with him. You keep his confidence going. You keep his momentum going. Detroit had everything in the world to play for. They came at them, threw everything possibly at them. The defense was coming through the offensive line. They was just threw everything at him. And this guy was nearly perfect. It was 15 for 20, 212 yards, passing rating of 148, QBR 94. He threw for 212 yards. Three touchdowns, and two of the beautiful touchdown passes that you will see thrown to Dez Bryant, man. I mean, whether it was the one in the end zone where Dez had to make the catch, extending the arm, reaching out. What I liked about that play, only Dez could get it. Only Dez can get it. And if Dez wants to be considered a top 5 receiver, he's got to make that catch. He's got to make that catch, and guess what he did? He made it. It was a little juggling act. He secured it. Touchdown. Great pass. Great play. Outstanding look. I can't describe it any better than that. That was nice. And then another one at Dez, where Dez was running. He stopped on a dime. The defender kept going. Dez turned around. The ball was right there. Waiting for him. Just waiting on him. All Dez had to do was I don't even think he had to jump for it, but he did. He secured the ball. Touchdown. Just an awesome display by Dak Prescott. The sky's the limit for the Cowboys and these two rookies. I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm an Eagles fan. It pains me to say it, but you heard me say it before on this show. I may be a fan of a team, but I'm a fan of the sport first. And I just got to give credit where credit is due. The defense is looking good. This guy, David Irving, man, out of nowhere. He has come out of nowhere to lead this pass rush on that line, David Irving. He single-handedly knocked Tampa Bay out last week. And then he put some pressure on the second half on Matthew Stafford last night. I mean, he was just in. He finished with a sack and a half, but he was just in front of Matthew Stafford. Wherever Matthew was, he was there. It was just phenomenal to watch last night, this Cowboy team. And as I said, they rested Elliott sometime in the third quarter. He had 12 carries for 80 yards. Otherwise, he was on his way well into a 100-yard game. They started running McFadden. He did well. I mean, I believe they finished the game, the Cowboys, that is, with like 32 carries, and 154 yards. Just tremendous, 164 yards. Just tremendous effort on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys offense. And for a game like this is a game where I think a team like the Atlanta Falcons have to take notice. Because if you ask me, I think that if Dallas plays Atlanta in a shootout, I think that's the only way Atlanta can beat Dallas. But Dallas showed last night that they can score with anybody. This might be the first time they put up 40 points all year. It wasn't like they ever had to. But last night they showed if it came into a shootout, they'll be prepared and they'll be able to do just that. Dak hit like 7 different receivers. It got so pretty last night. They did a little flea flicker. Dez Bryant even threw a touchdown. Question is, for me, will Dez throw more touchdowns this year than Romo? If I'm a Cowboy fan, I should hope so. In other words, Dak should play. We don't want to see Romo in it. All right? But tremendous effort by the offense. Just one note. 4-time Pro Bowler who just was announced as 4th Pro Bowl this year, the big guy Smith on the offensive line, he limped off the field. Let's just hope that that's nothing serious, because you need him. But you can rest assured that Elliott is going to be over there finding out what kind of conditions he is. Now, the good thing is Dallas is only thing they have to do is play for their fans next week when they take on the Eagles. But next week, he doesn't have to play. You have a bye. So it's 3 weeks before he has to play again. Whatever he might have tweaked or whatever, hope it's not long term, but just hope that it's enough time for him to get himself right and be ready for that first game in about 3 weeks. So, but good win by Dallas. Like I said, it was a game to cap off a great weekend, and Dallas did not disappoint their fans last night. And as far as Detroit, and what can I say? You just ran up to the best team in the NFL at the wrong time. I mean, it's week 16. To see the best team in the NFL, that's tough on anybody. It's not like you're the only team that would have lost. I think anybody would have lost last night. So Detroit got some work to do. They still have opportunity to make it to the playoffs, but they just put themselves in a hole with back-to-back losses. So let's see what happens next week. The game between Detroit and Green Bay is really for all the marbles. Washington have to win. They win, they end. So they play the Giants. Still quite a bit of football left to be played, especially in the NFC. But once again, tremendous effort by the offense and Dak over there in Dallas last night. You couldn't ask for a better performance than that. Just precise, crisp passing, mistake-free football. That was a game that indicates to me for sure that the Super Bowl is going to Dallas. The road to the Super Bowl is going to Dallas. What a tremendous job. What a tremendous job. What a tremendous job. The way Dallas has played all year, I didn't think this would ever be mentioned in the same sentence. I didn't think so. But Jason Garrett would be considered for Coach of the Year. Never been a Jason Garrett fan, but he's had a lot of success with the rookies this year. Whether it was the rookies or not, but it did happen under his watch. And because it happened under his watch, he does have to get credit for it. I mean, they're 13-2 with a strong possibility of being 14-2 against the Eagles. Even if they're 13-3, it's still a phenomenal season, and they will have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Who would have even thought that, led by 2 rookies, that the Cowboys would make the playoffs, let alone be 13-3, 14-2, and hosting every game in the playoffs? I didn't see that coming. Not after the first week loss against the Giants. I just thought they'd be competitive. I thought Dak would do a good job. Nothing like this. Elliott, nothing like this. I mean, these guys, they look like 5-year players. They look like 5-year players. But anyway, nevertheless, great game on behalf of Dallas. Moving along, there was a ton of action in the NBA last night. And I'm going to start off with Cleveland and Detroit. This one bugs me. After a thrilling performance on Sunday, and a game that the referees or the league came out and said that the ref blew 2 calls in the final minutes of the game. One, LeBron hanging on the rim. Listen, he was swinging on the rim like they do in the Olympics and gymnastics before they're trying to do some kind of flip. I mean, there was nobody under him. He's celebrating up there. Like a buddy of mine said, he was hot dogging. No, that was hot sausaging. That was more than hot dogging. That was hot sausaging. He should have been called for the tech. And then they're going to say the trip by Richard Jefferson or Kevin Durant should have been a foul call. I can understand not making that call at that time, and especially on the road. I'm sure if they was in Golden State, he would have got the call. But that swinging on the rim, that should have been a tech. That was blatant, obvious, obvious, obvious. But anyway, what bugs me is after that thrilling win, they go and they play Detroit last night, and LeBron is out for rest. When is this going to stop? When is this going to stop? As a result of it, Detroit whipped their tail. But again, when does this stop? That's what I like to know. When does it stop? This rest. If anybody deserved the rest, it was Kyrie Irving for hitting the game winner. Not you. Kyrie Irving, yes, the game winner. The guy that you stole his MVP from the finals. But nevertheless, man, I'm tired about hearing about this rest. Let me move on from that game. All right. There was other action last night. Team in my backyard went out to Minnesota, lost to Minnesota. Really can't figure this Atlanta Hawks team out. I really can't. Luckily for them, a lot of teams in the East is playing just like them. Otherwise, they would be lost. But they stay in the middle of everything simply because the East is Cleveland, Toronto, Boston, and a bunch of other 500 teams. Maybe Charlotte stays relevant over 2 games over 500. I mean, the Knicks somehow find a way to stay over 500, but they're playing no different than everybody else. I mean, teams like Atlanta, Chicago, Indiana, Detroit, Milwaukee, they all win 2, lose 2, win 3, lose 2, win 1, lose 2. It's just a bunch of 500 teams. Somebody has got to take the bull and run with it. I mean, they have to do it. I don't know what team that is. I think the final 5 or final 4 is going to be decided by what 4 teams goes on a run at the end of the season. Because what we're seeing, it's really 500, 50-50 ball, and it's not good. And I'm going to tell you, Minnesota is one of the most disappointing teams in the league. For them to sweep the series against Atlanta this year is really awful. Minnesota came here and won. Now Atlanta goes there and lose. I mean, it's certain teams you have to beat, and that's just one of them. You have to beat them. You have to beat them. The Bulls, they beat the Pacers last night. After their Christmas debacle in San Antonio, they go home and they beat Indiana. And I can't figure this team out, Chicago. I really don't. I just say I don't think Fred Hoiberg is the guy for the job. I don't. I think he's a college coach at best. Chicago hasn't had much success with these coaches from Iowa State. I just don't like it. I think that they need to look at someone who's been in the NBA, not only as a player, but someone who's been coaching in the NBA. I think they need somebody like that, someone to relate with these veterans. You know, I tend to think that the college coaches, when they come to the league, I think they relate better with the younger teams than teams that have the veterans on there. You know, so maybe that's where the disconnect is coming in with Fred Hoiberg and this team. But yeah, it's something to look at. The Clippers, they played again without Blake and Chris Paul, and they lose to Denver, so they lose back-to-back games. Not a good look for them, you know. And here's the thing. Blake and Chris Paul seem to be out a lot. You know, I think it goes under the radar how many games a year that Chris Paul misses, but it seems like they're missing in action quite a bit, and sometimes together. I know Chris Paul is suffering with the hamstring, and Blake Griffin's going to be out for an extended period of time, but they seem to be out quite a bit. Something to watch. But I say this, when they're out together like that, this Clipper team is a lottery team. They just can't seem to beat anybody. And that's pretty bad, you know. But I guess that would be the same for most teams if they lose 2 of their top guys, their top 2 guys. I mean, think about this. If Cleveland was without LeBron and Kyrie, where would they be? you're asking Kevin Love to carry the load. If Golden State was to lose Curry and Kevin Durant for an extended period of time together, they might win a few ball games because you got Klay Thompson over there. But it definitely wouldn't be what they are. But they may win a few games. I'll take my chances with that team than any other team losing two of their star players. So something to watch out for. And then a team that continues to rise and continue to impress me. And I don't know what they're going to do over there. And I know what I would do. I would get rid of management before I trade DeMarcus Cousins. But DeMarcus Cousins puts up 30 points last night. They get past Philadelphia. It was a 2-point squeaker at home, but it doesn't matter how you win. But they get past Philly. Portland loses again to Toronto at home. And right now, Sacramento's in the 8th spot, a game ahead of Denver, who beat Clippers last night, but 2 games ahead of Portland, who was the 5th seed last year in the playoffs, won a first round against the depleted Clippers. This is getting interesting because with the trading deadline and everybody got their hands up trying to make a move for DeMarcus Cousins, the question is do the Kings try to bring somebody in to play along with DeMarcus Cousins? That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to get rid of DeMarcus Cousins. Not this year. He signed through next year. Now, a year from now, yeah. If things are not working out in Sacramento and they're tired of the antics of DeMarcus Cousins, sure. You go ahead and you trade. It makes sense then. But right now, I'm trying to bring somebody in. I'm trying to bring somebody in to play with this guy. And I might hold on to Dave Jager too. I think he's doing an exceptional job there. I would look to replace the Vadi Divac and that circle of management because they have not brought in the right pieces to play around DeMarcus Cousins. But as you can see, he is carrying his team single-handedly because I believe Rudy Gay is still out. Single-handedly, he is carrying his team. So I wouldn't rush to judgment to get rid of him. Not so quick. No. So listen, that's going to do it for the show today. I appreciate you guys out there. I know you're sharing my posts, making comments. People are sending me comments on my timeline. They're doing so many things. And I appreciate it all. I really do. Listen, I'm doing this for the fun. I'm doing it for the love. I'm doing it for you guys. I'm also doing it hoping that it gets into the eyes and ears of someone who can make a difference in my life with it. I'm not being naive that, hey, maybe someone it might get there. But at the end of the day, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. So I'm going to see you guys in 24. And this is Chopping It Up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. I see you guys back here in 24. Peace and blessings. Chop, chop.